What's going on, y'all? I'm here to talk about the buffs and changes I've made to Flamigo in my ROM hack Pokemon Scrambled Scarlet. So shout out to you if you're a new viewer. Welcome to my channel. Don't click off the video, but I do have some really important information in the description link down below. If you pause the video, again, don't click off. That'll mess up the watch time, and I do appreciate you watching. Also, if you're a returning viewer, shout out to you. You're the GOAT. I appreciate you very much. Leave a comment down below if you are returning. Yeah, if you're new here, pause the video. There's tons of information in the description. You can read it all. It's in bullet point form. It's pretty easy to digest. There's also video links to explaining more things about the hack if that interests you. And then, of course, the documentation that you're looking at right now is linked down below. There's the move guide, which is super important and has all the moves organized into these various categories that you can see on screen. So you can click it. It'll take you there. Tons of other important stuff on this sheet. It's all linked in the table of contents. You can also join my Discord. With all that being said, though, I'm going to get into talking about Flamigo. Yeah, this guy's the GOAT. I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. This guy, I fucking hate his design, but like, obviously, regardless of how much I dislike a Pokemon, it's not gonna change me from giving it like good buffs. So I did have to balance this around the other fighting flying types in terms of ability overlap and whatnot. Those being Braviary and Hawlucha. So 3 isn't too many to balance around each other, but it's still something to keep in mind because there are 3 ability slots. But Co-Star, some people who are doubles brained or competitively brained will be like, what happened to Co-Star? That's such a cool signature ability. Why'd you take it away? And the reason for that is that there is literally one guaranteed double in the game, which is Rhyme. And then the rest of, like, Co-Star's doubles, right? I'm not making that up. Pretty sure it's doubles. You copy the stats of whatever the hell your ally, yeah, okay. So yeah, basically uses ability. Sorry. Yeah, there's like one double battle in the game. Maybe I'll add like 1 or 2 extra at most, and that's if it's possible. I haven't tested for sure if that's possible yet. I've heard rumors that it does crash the game, so we'll have to test that out eventually. But regardless, doubles are not a very big factor in this game, right? It's singles oriented, so not very good. These 3 abilities are all very good. You have an immediate damage boosting in Guts, speed boosting in Quick Feet, and then Moxie for that snowball effect. You know, very solid stats. I mean, it's pretty tanky, but with EVs and prep and stuff, you get access to all these resources, and your Pokemon are all designed to be super versatile. So in this case, again, you can have them be super strong off rip. Say, for example, you pivot them in on a resist or an immunity, which you have several of. You get your orb to trigger. There's no more protect. There's more information about that on the Google Sheet if you're curious. You can read that after you finish this video. It's right here. If you click this, it'll take you to explaining why that is. But it's still very easy to trigger these abilities by just switching in because they trigger at the end of the turn. So the orbs will trigger at the end of the turn, and then the next turn you have your actual, once you switch in, you have your boost. So yeah, +1 attack or +1 speed with Guts or Quick Feet essentially. And then Quick Feet is great because in a ROM hack, well, not only is it great because with Choice Scarf you're locked into one move, but Choice Scarf is pretty drawbackless in game because there's no prediction you have to rely on, so you can just click the move that you need to click and lock into that, and then maybe switch out at worst case. But this ROM hack is balanced around item clause, so you only get 1 Choice Scarf per boss fight, and then your only other speed control items. You obviously, most Pokemon get priority, and for example, in this case, you get Aerial Ace, which is flying type quick attack, and you also get First Impression, which is a pretty widespread TM. So obviously, you still do have priority moves, but having like that strong, speed with Scarf or Quick Feet or whatever is very valuable. So that's why you would use Quick Feet. It would be if you're using your Choice Scarf for somebody else and you need that speed boost, or you want to, say for example, run Quick Feet +2 attacks and then get like 2 kills like with your fighting stab and then a coverage move, whatever it is. I mean, there's all types of situations, right? There's 150 different boss fights in this game because of the 5 different paths, so you'll always have uses for these abilities. Logically, I haven't really explained the flavor, honestly, because I don't think there needs to be much, like, oh, Scrappy, yeah, people are going to whine about Scrappy who are comp-brained. Scrappy is one of the worst abilities in game to give in a ROM hack, where I try very hard to make all 3 ability slots useful and worth using. Like, there's no reason to ever use Scrappy. The only use for Scrappy is, like, Fake Out in the Rhyme double battle. That's probably it, because every other case you have Movie Honor, you can just teach a freaking coverage move, or just switch out. Most Pokemon, pretty much every Pokemon that would have Scrappy, like mostly fighting types, is gonna get like Hell Thrust, Lash Out, the other physical dark moves. to compensate for the fact that it's worthless. Scrappy's great in a competitive sense where the opponent is switching around constantly. It can punish switch-ins. It prevents ghosts from switching in. But in terms of for the player versus AI, it's useless because the AI is never gonna predict your switch and hard switch out on a fucking into a ghost type. Very rarely, if ever, does that happen. So it's a bad ability. Sorry, I know I should have said that earlier because I know somebody's gonna comment, oh, what happened to Scrappy? Oh my god, you removed Scrappy and Co-Star. His soul is gone. But I mean, they're just not good, But Scrappy fits, like for the same reason Scrappy fits abilities like Guts and Moxie fit. It's the same flavor, same logic for the reasoning of them having those abilities, and it fits their personality and whatnot in game. They like to attack and whatever. I mean, it's pretty generic, fighting type. They can fit Guts and Moxie for sure. And then Quick Feet is flavor ability because of their long legs and whatnot, and also it's just a good pairing with Guts and Moxie. So again, like I said at the beginning, you have that snowball, you have the immediate damage boost, which means you don't have to get a kill first, which is very good, and then you have that speed boost ability. So that's very, very good to switch between all your ability slots. You have tons of powerful stab moves, all kinds of nice little coverage moves you can run. Reliable things like accurate blaze kicks and headbutt, play rough, health thrust, liquidation, stomping tantrum, all types of nice coverage there. You also got some nice multi-hit moves, like early game you've got, not early game in general, you've got Pummel, Fury Pex, and Wallop, which work really well with loaded dice, getting you 100 base power guaranteed on those multi-hit moves. And then you've got Triple Kick and Dual Wing Beat, which are even, very reliable. They are almost as strong as loaded dice Pummel and Fury Pex and Wallop. However, you will get loaded dice. I'd probably in like the early 30s if I had to guess. So there's still use for Pummel, Fury Pex, Wallop type stuff. Not to mention, yeah. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, I did give them some physical water moves for flavor. It's not that, if I'm being real with you, I don't really see Wave Crash that much, but I just think it's interesting, especially to distinguish them from like the other two fighting flying types. They're already very distinguished because of their abilities. The other three don't. They all have different abilities. But at the end of the day, I don't know. I just think it's a cute little flavor, even if it doesn't make that much sense. It's still cool to have like strong water moves on them because they are Flamigo, so it is what it is. A little bit of a reach, but it's cool. Hydro Assault is a water type. Hydro Assault and Superpower are both physical versions of Draco Meteor now, so that's very nice. 140 base power, 100% accurate. Later in the game, you got stuff like CC. Obviously, you've got your high jump kick, which works really well with wide lens, and Dive Bomb is also flying type high jump kick. So both of those will require wide lens, but you do have a lot of moves that take advantage of wide lens. Not only do you have Dive Bomb and high jump kick, you've also got Sing, Triple Axle, and Megaton kick, which are all pretty nice. I was considering No Guard for them, and honestly, who knows, I might go back on that at some point in a future patch and instead of Moxie or something, but obviously Moxie's very good. It's borderline broken. In game, it's if you're outspeeding everything, you can cover, run Scarf, whatever. You can run multi-hit moves and kind of snowball. The only thing that's really going to stop you at that point is like priority moves or a quick claw on the opponent's team. That'll force you out, which, will be on every boss fight for the most part, but it's still pretty strong. No Guard would be pretty cool. I might. Okay, you know what? After this video, I'm gonna ask. There is a small chance it will have no. I should probably re-record if that happens, but I really don't want to. I don't know. No Guard would be pretty cool, actually. Thinking about it. Actually, no, it wouldn't, because you already have Guts for damage boost. So like Guts boosted takedown or whatever is like, or triple kick is like the same as No Guard high jump kick. Anyways, it's whatever. Stronger, actually, right? 90 times 1.5, 135. Yeah. Obviously, taking a little bit of chip from the burn, but that's not really a big deal at all. Not to mention Guts gives you total freedom. So I take that back. The only cool thing with No Guard would be the Sing. The No Guard Sing. That's pretty cool. And the coverage. The coverage is pretty neat, but it is what it is. Because you don't, even then you get Gut Stomping Tantrum, which is the same power as Megaton Kick with No Guard. So it's actually fine. No, never mind. Good thing I don't have to re-record this time. Triple Axle is the only thing. But just run wide lens if you desperately need that ice coverage, Just slap on a wide lens and you can run Moxie or whatever and you're good to go. It's pretty good, man. Very straightforward Pokemon, very straightforward buffs overall. It's got some nice utility. I was going very much back and forth about whether or not they fit the move Parting Shot, because I am very strict about Parting Shot now, at least more strict than I was in Sweltering Sun. So far I've only been giving it to mons that actually make sense to learn it via TM somewhat, like Skull Villain and obviously all the guys that get it in Vanilla and other cool, Masquerade, most Dark types, that type of stuff. Flamigo, I don't know. Personally, I saw it, but I don't know. I ended up taking it away. I do kind of see it still. Maybe I'll throw it back on one day, but for now, it doesn't have Parting Shot, which isn't a big deal. It's got U-turn, so it's got the pivot move regardless. Um, yeah, other debuff stuff. I mean, it's got Feather Ball and Feather Dance. Feather Ball dropping both attacking stats by 1 and dealing some damage. It does have a usable special attack stat, which is pretty funny. I was gonna drop it more. The thing with the stats is like, well, why didn't you min-max them more? And it's like, I don't see this thing being that tanky. I mean, honestly, 82, 74, 74 is already bulkier than I would see it personally. Um, but it is what, that's just what it has normally, basically. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just let him be relatively tanky. Speaking of, yeah, being relatively tanky, with Quick Feet, for example, you can switch him with max HP EVs and max attack, or whatever, however many attack EVs you need to kill whatever you need to kill, which is, not always going to be max attack, especially if you're hitting super effectively every time or whatever with your coverage and your move reel in there. Point is, though, with Quick Feet, you don't need to run any speed EVs because you're so fast naturally, so you can run max HP and make your bulk even better. That's very, very good and very nice. And then, of course, your raw speed is also pretty damn good. 105 is a solid tier. Obviously, in this ROM hack context, it's a lot different. In competitive, 105 is like whatever. It's still good, but you have to deal with crazy speed tiers like Scarf running around in competitive. But in game, the AI is not using Choice Scarf because it's a bad item to give to AI in general. So, point is the speed, and also like, they're not constantly using, there's no meta game, it's just the predetermined team. So people aren't using trainers aren't using the fastest possible Pokemon that they can be using. Therefore, stuff like 105 base speed is pretty damn good in around that context. So that's all really good. That's basically it. I mean, stuff like Sky Attack requires Power Herb. It doesn't require it, but it, basically requires Power Herb. And that's really cool because it gives you +1 attack now. So it's kind of like a Meteor Beam, like a physical Meteor Beam. So you can use that, kill something, and then get an attack boost. You could even, in theory, like cook a little bit and like debuff the opponent. Pray to God you don't get crit. Like with a teammate, right? Debuff them. Pray to God you don't get crit, and then like Quick Feet Sky Attack, and then get +1 speed, +1 attack, and go crazy from there. But that's a little bit, it's cooking. You got to cook a little bit for that. Bulk Up Quick Feet is also very good because of your HP, and you also have stuff like Roost to heal a little bit, even though you're taking burn damage. Again, the burn damage is pretty negligible in game, when you can very much control how much damage you're taking. Other coverage moves, Grass Knot is now physical. You can listen to more about that in the move change video. There's a timestamp explaining that if you're curious for more explanation as to why, but that's nice. Physical coverage there. Again, you've got the ice stuff. Ice Beam is only 60 base power, but it gives you +1 speed now, so that's really good. I might even change that one day. It might end up being a little too much with move reel in, but we'll see. That's all for future balance patches once the game's actually out. That goes for anybody watching this, months and months after it's released. Stuff always changes over time, so definitely check the Google Sheet for the most up-to-date changes. I think that's about it that I want to talk about, though. I did, again, give them a couple singing-type moves, which is also why I was debating Parting Shot, because of that whole, like, co-star stuff. It's also why they get, like, Mimic and Copycat, which are also pretty useful with Move Reel. You can definitely cook around using some cool strats with those moves, again, with Move Reel and the fact that you're playing Teamlocked. Lots of cool strategies you can take advantage of that you wouldn't normally bother doing in other ROM hacks. So, yeah, thank you for listening. Shout out to you if you made it to the end. Leave a comment. I'll be back for more. Peace.